S Word, featuring Will Gavin and Master Tess Fassian. And a squad of big-name contributors. The S Word from talkSPORT.
A very good afternoon and welcome to the S Word, or a good morning to our friends out in America. I'm Will Gavin, Master Tess Fatsian alongside me. Week 2, Master, and it's a real shame that the weekend left us absolutely nothing to talk about today.
We're going to be struggling for the next 2 hours to figure out how are we going to fill 2 hours? What, 6 segments? Man, if only the Premier League gave us something to talk about.
Honestly, I don't know how we're going to all fit it into 2 hours. Maybe we'll do a secret extra hour just for us, just for the subscribers there at home. Look, we will of course look back on what could be a season-defining weekend, and particularly 4 minutes and 17 seconds in the Premier League yesterday, Master.
Yeah, right call. 1-0 to the Arsenal. I didn't see a problem. Did you?
Of course, that is all you care about. Barcelona beat Real Madrid 2-0 in El Clasico to claim La Liga for the first time in an El Clasico. We'll look back on that. Spurs could move 4 points clear of the relegation zone as they face Leeds tonight. We'll have another fan face-off. And look, everyone's doing West Ham, everyone's doing Arsenal. We're going to bring a City perspective into this and see how they're feeling about that action with VAR, with Darren England, with Chris Kavanagh and everything yesterday afternoon. All that and so much more coming up for you on the S Word. All right, look, we have got some great guests coming up on the show today. We've got Terry Gibson coming on to talk about that game in Barcelona last night. Marcus Rashford's sensational free kick to open the scoring and eventually win that game for Barcelona. We're going to have Harry Symeou join us in the studio, and we will have our fan face-off, Arsenal against Man City, the title race right here on the S Word. But, Master, there is only one place to start. Look at your grin. Look at you. I think with all of this discussion, the problem's going to be is that you're sitting there going, I don't care. I don't care. I do not care.
I do care. I do care about the sanctity and the dignity of this beautiful sport.
If you cared about the sanctity and dignity of this beautiful sport, you'd want that goal to stand.
It was great for once to see VAR, the system working.
Oh my God.
It's great to see VAR actually doing its job. It's great to see the system working. It's great to see calls properly being overturned that are clear and obvious for once. So thank you to the PGMOL for doing exactly what it was intended to do.
I think you're the first person to say that anywhere today. Thank you to the PGMOL. Look, Arsenal did move a step closer to the first Premier League title in 22 years. And West Ham have 1 foot firmly back in the Championship. Here's how the weekend sounded on talkSPORT.
It's gone all the way in. It missed everybody and snuck in off the post, and Chelsea are level, and Enzo Fernandez has scored. Chelsea will be able to say they've snapped their losing run, but the Liverpool fans aren't happy. It's finished at Anfield. Liverpool 1, Chelsea 1.
Well, it's taken a while after those 2 goals in the first 5 minutes, but finally it's Brighton 3, Wolves 0. It's Fulham 0, Bournemouth 1, Ryan with the opener, and this is some goal.
There's every chance Bournemouth could be in the Champions League next season.
Forest 1, Newcastle 1, an important point for Forest to move 7 clear of the relegation zone.
Manchester City 3, Brentford 0. Omar Mamouche, only his second Premier League goal of the season, has sealed this one. It means that City are 2 points behind Arsenal. The Gunners at West Ham tomorrow.
West Ham have equalised! Callum Wilson with a massive goal for the Hammers! Oh my word, he's been sent to the monitor, Chris Kavanagh. It's Pablo is the offender.
It was far from simple, but it ends 1-0 to the Arsenal.
What a lovely song, right, Will? 1-0 to the Arsenal, 1-0 to the Arsenal, 1-0.
I think before we say anything else, over the course of this season, and the course of any season, teams finish where they're meant to finish, right?
100%.
I truly believe that over the course of 38 games, things shake out. I hate the idea that it's like, oh, you get one back for every one you do, and you do. We should try and eradicate bad decisions out of football, but West Ham haven't been good enough to stay up.
No.
Arsenal have taken advantage of a relatively low-quality Premier League season and will be winning the Premier League title at this point. 10 1-0 wins this year. 10 1-0 wins this year.
Best defence in Europe.
This whole situation isn't the reason anyone was relegated. It isn't the sole reason anyone is being promoted as champions. But I do feel like it is a key moment for the future of both VAR and for the future of the Premier League. I think people will cite what's happened today when they go back and they review it and they go back and look at the rules and look at the usage of VAR, whether on the day it got it right or wrong, and that will divide opinion across the board. A lot of it based on who your rooting interest is, funnily enough. I really think that we will take a step back this summer and go, are they doing this the right way? Are we making the right decisions?
This is the best example of the system working. David Raya was clearly impeded. He is one of the best when it comes to set pieces and being able to control and grab balls that are up in the air, especially inside the 6-yard box. And so when I saw it in real time, I looked at my cousin and I said, that is a foul. I said it in real time. I did not think it would be overturned because time and time again, we have seen VAR not do what it's intended to do.
Well, this is it. It's maximum benefit, minimum interference, clear and obvious.
And that was clear and obvious.
And I would say, and look, I think Pablo fouls the keeper. That is clear.
Clearly.
He's got an arm on him. I'm not debating that that's not a foul in any way, shape or form. But it takes 4 minutes and 17 seconds to make that decision. It requires not people only in Stockley Park, but him to go to the screen as well, at which point he has stood there for a long time. And Chris Kavanagh, all of this conversation and debate, and we'll get into it a little bit, about Arsenal over the course of the season and consistency. He makes a decision in the moment that he has to make based on what he's seeing in front of him. He's not making a decision based on the season. He's not going, well, yeah, Arsenal have been getting away with this all year long. But the fact of the matter is that you could argue it's not clear and obvious because there are 5 West Ham players being fouled in the build-up. 5 different players being fouled out of 6. And so how can you argue that Souček, Somerville, Todibo, Pablo, Mavropanos, all aren't being in some way impeded, which could have affected what happens when that ball lands?
Somewhat impeded
regardless.
Or impeded? Somewhat impeded. We have seen that happen time and time again on set pieces. That is no different than we have seen happen throughout the course of this Premier League season. Holding the goalkeeper's arm down. That looked like a UFC move I saw over the weekend.
But Pablo is being wrestled by Trossard, whose back is to the play, who is facing away from it, whose only focus is on impeding Pablo. And you could absolutely argue...
Would he have gotten the ball?
You can absolutely argue that whether or not he'd got the ball, him being wrestled, pulled, he had a shirt being pulled from behind as well. There were 2 players both fouling the keeper, but there were also 2 players fouling Pablo. You could easily argue that the foul on Pablo is why he makes the move he does towards the keeper.
Get an arm on the ball. They got nothing on the ball.
But does Pablo put his arm on the keeper? Does he get pushed into that position if Trossard's not wrestling him and pushing him? All of that has to come into account.
Raya's jersey is being grabbed. There is an arm literally holding him. There is an elbow in his neck. That is a UFC move.
Declan Rice fouls 2 different players. Creatio Somerville first, then handles Maranapos, who, by the way, has been easily their best player from set pieces and easily their big threat from there.
He has been.
He could have gone in and won a ball. Todibo's being held by Odegaard. Gabriel is holding. Havertz is dragging Souček to the ground by his shirt.
None of that would matter because David Raya would get the ball. He would catch the ball.
You can't guarantee that.
Yes, I can absolutely guarantee because I've seen it time and time again. He's the best goalkeeper in England. He's the best goalkeeper in Europe. He's winning all these awards for clean sheets that he's had in the Champions League, in the Premier League. He has been sensational. 9 times out of 10, he's catching that ball. The 10th time, he is punching that out of the box. No doubt in my mind.
My problem with all of it is, and this is the exact argument I actually didn't want to have when we came on air, but I ended up having it anyway, is that completely sick of this lack of consistency and clarity with VAR. And look, I heard Peter Schmeichel's take on it. I heard him saying
Shocking that he took that position. He's usually defending goalkeepers. And how on earth is Peter Schmeichel, and I love his commentary, I genuinely do. He seems like an amazing person. How on earth is he not defending goalkeepers as he typically does during those controversial decisions when this goalkeeper, when David Raya is clearly being impeded, and all of a sudden now the goalkeepers club does not matter to him anymore. Being able to be preferably looking out for goalkeepers no longer matters because it's Arsenal. That is the only sole reason why he is taking this harsh stance, because any other situation, he would be on the goalkeeper side.
I feel like I was about to just disagree with Peter Schmeichel as well, and you thought I was going to take his side, because, look, Schmeichel is wrong. When he says if this was consistently called as a foul, Arsenal wouldn't be top of the league right now. And yes, all season they've been crowding and surrounding goalkeepers at corners, finding ways to create havoc, to score goals from set pieces. And there are examples, and we saw examples flashed all over social media last night. 27 set-piece goals this season. And of the ones that were flashed over social media, I think there are true arguments that games were changed based on those goals. The win over United on the first day of the season when Saliba clearly impedes the keeper and Calafiori scores. The 2-1 win at Newcastle when Saliba's clearly impeding Pope and Gabriel scores the header in the 96th minute. Those are points dropped regardless. You could have the argument with, like, I kept seeing the Emi Martinez one and like, yeah, that's happened in the 58th minute and it's the opening goal of a 4-1 win. If that's ruled out, you've got 32 minutes of football left to play. My problem really with all of it is pre-season they said this was going to be a focus, grappling in the box. It hasn't been called all year. Darren Cann last night on TV talking about attackers shouldn't be allowed in the 6-yard box before a corner is taken.
That was ridiculous.
I just think if they did start policing this properly and they started giving penalties for people fouling them, and the reason I'm disagreeing with Peter Schmeichel, because if they did do that, if they started policing this properly, if for 2 weeks they went, if you're holding someone in the box, if you are impeding a goal, if you do it, we are giving free kicks and we're giving penalties and we are going to do it time and time again, guess what? These coaches are intelligent. Nicolas Javier is one of the best coaches in world football, and he's just a set-piece coach for Arsenal. They would react, they would change their approach, and they would find another way to have an advantage. But what we wouldn't have is this nonsense that we had to deal with. We wouldn't have to have these conversations. And it would
just create more conversation, though, because then all of a sudden we would spend every Monday.
Is so frustrating.
We would spend every Monday debating whether this was a penalty or not. If anything, I don't understand the people that are upset that these other fouls weren't called, because isn't that exactly what you want? However, there is special protection on the goalkeeper. That part cannot be disputed.
I've never been, actually, I think goalkeepers are overprotected. That's a whole separate conversation for a separate time.
But the simple fact that being held down as you were trying to jump up to catch the ball, like, I don't understand how anyone could argue against that.
And look, I cited the Arsenal examples because that's what everyone's posting on social media. West Ham's winner against Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium,
let them know.
The keeper was clearly impeded. West Ham, without that decision, are basically already down before yesterday. Man City, for their equaliser against Everton last week, before the ball came back out to Jeremy Doku, the goalkeeper was being impeded.
100%.
This is part of football at this point. It's not a pretty part of football. It's just, I do understand people's frustration that they're like, hold on, we've seen this a lot this season. We've seen that this is a tactic people employ. Why is it suddenly not okay this one time, but every other time it's been called? Or why are we not seeing fouls given against... Darren Cann banging on about, like, well, it's the first significant one. And you're kind of making that argument to an extent because he's definitely the player that's going to get there. I would argue every other foul is significant because you cannot... I'm sure in the age of AI, maybe we could go, right, if no one's touched there, where does everyone end up with the ball?
What's the trajectory of their movement? Playing? What's the point of having humans playing? Just have a bunch of robots out there playing football.
But that's the problem for me, is that because of all those fouls happening, I think you've got two options, which is either they're never going to do this, but you see it a lot of the time where all that wrestling's happened and the referee blows up before the ball even reaches the middle of the box. We're never talking about the corners retaken, what happens, or you have to give the goal. I think stepping in on that one incident and ignoring the other ones going on is just going to cause this controversy every time.
This one far and exceeded the other instances of physicality that happen in the box that we have allowed to happen time and time again. When you impact the goalkeeper's ability, that should be called a foul. When you have an elbow in his face, in his elbow, when one player has an elbow in his face and the other one is grabbing his jersey on the back, making sure that he cannot physically jump up to catch the ball. What are we debating here? And now I see the people on social media, I got friends who now want to dispute, in fact, that if Arsenal does go on to win the Premier League, which I'm not guaranteeing anything, and that fan, the away fan that was in there wearing the champion shirt, just nonsense. Well, there's 2 more matches. It's not over yet. However, the fans that are arguing that there's an asterisk behind this, have you ignored?
You are the ultimate asterisk man, by the way.
I mean, there's asterisks
every Chelsea fan. They do
absolutely.
Those stars aren't stars. They're asterisks. Is a direct quote from you.
That is, and I have a lot of valid.
Now there's an asterisk against your title.
If there's an asterisk on Arsenal's title, may I remind people what has happened the last couple of years with VAR and PGMOL. Last year alone, there were 3 players that were sent off for delaying the restart a second yellow card that was given to Declan Rice against Brighton. May I remind you of the red card that was given to Miles Lewis-Skelly? May I remind you of Trossard kicking the ball away and getting a second yellow? All of these had significant impact on the race last year. And we're just talking about last year. 2 years before that, 3 years before that, we're talking about VAR intervention that ruled goals off. There was a triple check that happened, the loss that happened to Newcastle Arsenal, 1-0. There was 3 opportunities to disallow the goal that did not happen. And we can even go to January. Forest, Arsenal, 0-0. Ole Aina, the handball that wasn't called. And Ole Aina immediately goes to social media afterwards, trolling, basically hinting at the fact that he probably got away with one there.
What I would like to see more of, and I'm not citing this incident in particular, but what I want to see more of in VAR in general, and there needs to be more clarity, rules, like we need to redo the offside rule, we need to redo the handball rule, all this stuff needs to happen, because right now, I say this as someone who has generally been pro-VAR, who is a follower of American sports, thinks that technology can be introduced into football, not just for goal line technology, but proper video replay technology has a place in football if it's properly used. I really, genuinely, truly believe that on a day when most people will be absolutely slating it.
I believe it now too.
Of course you do. But I think that whether we put a stop clock on it, whether we put, like to stop the clear and obvious, whether we have to just have brand new rules that govern it entirely, something has to happen to clear this situation up. Because otherwise it's going to be this, basically we're having the same debates we were having before VAR existed. We're just talking about the VAR-ness of it instead of a missed decision.
I agree with the clock though. They got the call right. That's the part that matters. They got the call right.
What I do want to see, is...
Even if it takes 5 minutes, they got the call right.
And it's completely acceptable for the answer to this to be no. Did you watch Motherwell Hearts this weekend?
I did not.
Very clear, massive game in the SPL. 1-1 draw means that Celtic have got within a point of Hearts. There's a midweek round coming up, and then Celtic play Hearts next weekend. It's huge. First chance for a team to win the Scottish Premiership other than Rangers or Celtic since 1985. It's as big as it comes, right? There is a penalty check for Hearts in the 96th minute with the game 1 apiece. The referee gets sent to the screen. And let's be honest, 99.9% of the time, referee gets sent to the screen, we know what's happening. The decision's being changed.
Overturned, 100%.
The referee goes over and he takes his time. This kind of kills my stop clock conversation. He watches it and he says, essentially, I don't think I've made a clear and obvious error. I think there's too much slow-mo. I think there's too much... like, all the people posting freeze frames on social media, it's like, that doesn't prove anything. You have to watch the incident in real time. And I'm happy watching it from 6 angles, but if you're not watching it in real time, you're not getting a real sense of how much impact things have had. Like, slow-mo always makes people look worse than it does. And he went, and he watched it, and he went, I'm happy with my on-field decision, and he walked away. And we don't see that happen enough. I'm not saying it should have happened on Sunday, but it's...
I didn't see the example.
Even as someone who supports VAR, I'm getting to the point now where I'm sick of it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the part that things are being over officiated, but again, the reason why we wanted VAR, the reason why instant replays, the challenge flags, all that whole system of having video officiating that can come in, the goal was to minimize the margin of error, the human error, which is going to happen regardless, because to err is to be human. And so there's naturally going to be calls that are missed. This was created to help avoid a situation where it could be as costly as a club or a team missing out on an opportunity to win a title.
Or be relegated. And let's be honest, West Ham right now, and this kind of under talked about, with the potential ownership changes, with the struggles...
They're in a tough spot, man.
Like, yes, the stadium is free or /cheap to them comparatively of what other people have to pay for the stadiums, but they get relegated here and don't come straight back up. They potentially are in real dire straits. Like, they will need to find a new suitor. They will need to try and sell all those stocks to somebody entirely new and not just have Sullivan buying up gold stock as is happening at the moment and people just increasing stakes. Like, I think to summarize the whole thing and to look back on the whole thing, and the reason I'm getting annoyed about this is because this was a great game of football.
It was. We haven't even talked about Odegaard's performance coming in and stepping up. We haven't talked about Leo Trossard stepping up. We haven't talked about the injuries with Ben White and Arteta messing up the substitutions and his players bailing him out. where Arteta continuously, when he has the options.
And West Ham having chances.
They had chances,
Diouf running onto that through ball in the first half. Castellanos' header, which, it's a great save from David Raya, but man, go across the keeper in that. So that's the Fernandes one. Go across the keeper in that situation.
A wonderful save from David Raya.
It's a wonderful save.
So many great moments in this game.
You've got to put it across the keeper.
So much drama in this game.
And West Ham played so well. They kept Saka quiet for such huge stretches of the game when he's been brilliant the last few weeks. They deserved a point from this game in terms of the performance. That's not how life works, unfortunately. And yet here we are. We've spent 30 seconds on those 5 or 6 really great moments, and we've spent 17 minutes talking about, 4 minutes plus.
At the end of the day, VAR, if West Ham does go down, VAR will not be the reason why West Ham went down. They have 18 losses for a reason. And I'll leave it at that.
You are watching the S Word from talkSPORT. You'll find us on the S Word on YouTube, via talkSPORT's YouTube or via the S Word channel. I've had some great videos going up there over the weekend, so go and check those out. Leave us a comment, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And you can contact us on social media as well. We're on Instagram, we're on X, we're at talkSPORT S Word on all those locations. Drop us a DM, send us a message. We'll get you involved in the show. Coming up on the show, fan face-off, Arsenal and City, and the title race. Harry Symeou is going to join us in the studio because what I need is more Arsenal fans in my life.
Come on.
And Barcelona win a La Liga title. Terry Gibson will join the show.
Bringing all the biggest football debate stateside. The S Word from talkSPORT. Words here. Just 2 hours of full-on football dialogue. Every day, talkSPORT presents the S Word.
You're back with the S Word on talkSPORT via the talkSPORT YouTube channel and via talkSPORT S Word. Go there, like this video, subscribe to the channel, get in the comments. We'd love to hear from you, particularly in the live chat. Will Gavin, Master Tesfazian, alongside me. I feel like we got into the meat of the VAR decision there, but there's still plenty to get into from the Premier League weekend. We'll talk El Clasico as well, as the Liga title was decided amongst the chaos at Real Madrid and the emotional scenes with Hansi Flick as well. We'll get into all of that. Is there anything from this game that we haven't touched enough upon, that, like, we focused so much on those final moments, but it was truly a great Sunday of football and a great 90 minutes that just focused on a single moment?
Yeah, it did. The start of the match, the first 15 to 20 minutes, Arsenal looked exceptional.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked like a goal was coming. I'm not exactly too sure when Ben White went down. That was in the 28th minute. The injury, unfortunate, changed the entire complexity of the match and what Arsenal was trying to do with West Ham lined up in a back five. And unfortunately, we saw a problem that we've seen from Mikel Arteta over the last couple of years, where, just like his mentor, Pep Guardiola, in these kind of moments, sometimes he can overthink it.
Mm-hmm.
Big brain Arteta, as I like to call him. It was very clear what he should have done. Once Ben White was hurt, Mosquera should have came in for a like-for-like sub. He tried to overthink the situation, and instead of bringing in Mosquera, which, to the understanding, Mosquera maybe isn't the best with the ball at his feet, playing through the back, he brought in Zubimendi and tried to use Declan Rice at right back, and sometimes we saw Miles Lewis-Skelly dropping in that spot, and West Ham exploited that for a good 20 to 30 minutes afterwards.
Yeah, I thought they were excellent for a huge stretch after that, West Ham, and could have easily taken the lead, and we've mentioned a couple of those moments already, but the through ball to... one of the best passes I've seen, the through ball to the Diouf, and you were just like... I don't have a dog in the fight, but I'm out of my seat in that moment. I'm out of my seat when Castellanos gets a head onto it. Brilliant save by David Raya.
Wonderful save. Raya was fantastic all day.
And then how Matis Fernandes in the second half doesn't bury that. And David Raya, again, best goalkeeper in the Premier League this season. You could even argue best goalkeeper, Europe, the world, wherever you want to state it. But
real quick, I want to go back to Arteta's...
You got to shoot across the keeper there.
I want to go back to Arteta's substitutions real quick. Because the one thing that I will give Arteta credit for, as much as he absolutely made a horrendous decision bringing in Zubimendi instead of Mosquera, at halftime, he fixed the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least he tried to adjust to the problem. And he brought on Mosquera, unfortunately at the cost of Calafiori, who was moving well. And he brought on Martin Odegaard for Zubimendi. In the 67th minute, he took off Zubimendi, even though he just brought him on in the 28th minute, and brought on Kai Havertz. And for as much criticism as Martin Odegaard has gotten all season long, really for the last two seasons, and completely justifiable by Arsenal fans and critics, Martin Odegaard's performance coming in for those final 25 minutes, 25, 30 minutes, he saved the day for Arsenal. And he saved the day not just for Arsenal, but he saved the day for Mikel Arteta. And Arteta has been someone that has backed Odegaard time and time again.
And I think to his detriment at times.
Absolutely. And to the fans have been furious about it. When it mattered most in this situation, on the road, against a team that is battling for relegation, trying to find the goal, Arteta saved his manager. And I think that is a storyline that has not been talked about enough. For the faith that Arteta has had in Odegaard paid him back in one of the biggest moments of the season.
It's really interesting because obviously Victor Gyökeres is a guy who comes in for criticism at times. He's been in a much richer vein of form recently, but what he did do for the Arsenal side when he came in this season was something that I thought was missing throughout a lot of last year, and specifically missing from Odegaard's game, which is those driving runs into the box. There's an area kind of in the front two corners, and you particularly see it with Odegaard where he's linking up with Saka and you get those trios going on that side, and Odegaard lays it off and makes that run into the box. And too often he wasn't doing that. And I thought Gyökeres was offering that more this year. And so even though he didn't have the goals that you'd like from your number 9, I thought actually he was opening space up for other players. When Odegaard makes that run into the box, first time I can remember him doing that recently, and then takes the moment, patient, pulls it back for the goal for Trossard, sensational. And it does. It changes the whole complexity of the game.
It was beautiful because he faked me out. He faked the West Ham defender out because it looked like it was going to be a back pass to Saliba. And he decides to be forward and attacking, and it pays off. And his patience in that moment, I think, cannot be talked about enough. Patiently waiting for the opportunity to open up, finding Trossard at the top of the box. Credit to Kai Havertz, too, being able to somehow jump out of the way on that shot attempt. Like, I don't think that gets enough credit. It's so many times.
He's quite a lithe human being, Kai Havertz.
Very
like, he's
fluid.
Just,
You know, he was outside the box and somehow was right in front of the goal when that happened and was able to move out of the way. And what a moment for Leo Trossard, too. He's been someone, as you've talked about with Gyökeres as well. Over the last month, we've seen them step up their performances and really give Arsenal another boost on the attack. And Leo was running for his life all match long. He was covering, he was defending, he was sometimes the last line of defense, making some slide tackles. It was where he was able to give Arsenal for 90 minutes, what he was able to do. And credit to Arteta not taking him out of the match because he deserved to play all 90 minutes. He gave everything he had on the line for Arsenal, and he came through big in his pressing. He came through big in the goal, and well-deserving a man of the match.
It leaves West Ham in a really interesting position because, I mean, everyone, when that goal is ruled out, essentially wrote off the possibility of them surviving. Yeah, Spurs still have to play 3 games of football and haven't been very informed this year. I don't know if anyone's noticed. Yes, they've just won back-to-back games, and we'll look forward to that game with Leeds tonight, whether they're on the beach or not. But if West Ham do go down, there are ownership issues right now. There are fluidity and money issues right now. And you cannot see a huge amount of the quality players in this team. Jared Bowen, Somerville, Fernandes. Like, there's already people sniffing around those players and they've not gone down yet, right? So I know the Championship this season is expanding the playoffs. You can finish in the top 8 and get in, and maybe you have a late season surge, but they're not going to have money to spend. Yes, they'll have the parachute payment, so comparatively with a lot of Championship sides, they might be fine, but it really is another one of those cases of when a big club goes down, if they don't bounce straight back, you start to sweat it really quickly.
And especially a club like West Ham. They're going to have a target on their back going to the Championship. That is a grind.
Mm-hmm.
And all those clubs coming in to West Ham, if in fact they do go down, they're going to go in wanting to beat West Ham. Like, that is the game they will circle and highlight, being able to beat a big club in London with as poor as the facilities that West Ham may feel like it is. It's certainly better than some of the Championship clubs that they'll be facing. So there will be a target on their back going in the Championship. It will not be easy. It is a tough situation for their fans to be in, and I understand the frustration and how irate they feel, knowing they could have salvaged the point had VAR not intervened. But this has been a poor team all season. And it is one in which they've had many opportunities to try and save themselves from the situation. And time again in these circumstances, they haven't gotten the results they needed. 18 losses this year. It's not going to come down to VAR if West Ham get relegated. They lost 18 games so far this season. It has been a tumultuous situation, and we've seen the fans exiting the stadium well before halftime in certain situations, just being frustrated, whether it's the facilities, whether it's the team, whether it's the manager, ownership. There's just been a lot of frustration coming out of East London that I agree with you. I don't know how this gets solved, especially when we know if West Ham get relegated, their main man, Bowen, he will not be there. There will be so many Premier League teams that would love to have a quality player.
I heard Alex Crook on the Premier League All Access podcast from talkSPORT saying, actually, watch out for Spurs on that. They'd be a great head. If I'm Jared Bowen, I think I can go for Champions League football. I'm not going to a team who've just survived relegation. No offence, Tottenham fans. But with that in mind, and a congratulations to Nottingham Forest, to Leeds, who are now insured of their Premier League survival once more. Forest, a much better second half against Newcastle after a rather turgid first half.
I got a couple early kickoffs. Some Leeds minority owners about their happiness of staying up. So.
And maybe that's a rich vein of form for us to head down. But tonight, does that now mean they're on the beach with Tottenham in town? It's live on talkSPORT.
West Ham stay in the bottom three. It finishes here on what feels like a defining afternoon. West Ham 0, Arsenal 1.
Which way will the relegation battle swing next?
Tottenham Hotspur are 2-0 up at Aston Villa. The Spurs club motto is to dare is to do. But for most of the season, they haven't done anything, but they're doing it now.
This is the first time I thought they're going to stay up.
We must remain humble. Nothing changes.
West Ham will be relegated before Spurs play Chelsea.
And turned in! Leeds have got a third goal! Leeds are going to be safe in the Premier League.
43 points feels really good, I have to say.
Leeds will spend again, and they will spend big.
I think the manager's done tremendous for our football club.
Massive injection and hope in this relegation dogfight.
If we put on that for the rest of the season, we will be okay.
Spurs against Leeds tonight, live on talkSPORT to round off this Premier League weekend. And let's be honest, after West Ham and all of the late drama yesterday, a real chance to pull clear. If they can win tonight against Leeds, it would be just all but done at the bottom, you feel like. And look, the form of the last two games, back-to-back wins, we've debated a lot. They were excellent, I thought, of Villa, even if Villa didn't turn up. The concern is tonight, are Leeds going to turn up now that they're safe?
That's a tough one. I've been in these situations where I've covered teams.
You just have that sigh of relief, don't you? That moment of... And whether you intend to or not, whether you intend to turn up and put on a performance, that you've not got that adrenaline factor, you've not got that driving force that made West Ham so brilliant in that second half yesterday.
But you don't have
that behind you.
You've been preparing all week for this match to matter, and all of a sudden now, the night before the match, you're just going to turn it off. That is always hard for me to believe a professional athlete or a coaching staff or a club can all of a sudden switch it off when they have been preparing all week long. The significance, the stakes of this match. So I still expect Leeds to give their best foot forward, perhaps their final match in what truly matters for them this season before they go on the beach. I would expect them still to give it a good go. But for Tottenham, I think all eyes are on them. The performance that they have here. They haven't won at home, I think, since December 6th. So as great as better, as much as their performance has improved over the last couple of weeks under Roberto De Zerbi, their fans have not seen a win since December.
So this is part of, though, what going on the road, going to the West Midlands, getting back-to-back victories could potentially do for this team tonight, is that you walk in there, you're out of the bottom three. You know what's happened with West Ham yesterday. You know you've just won with a great performance at Villa. You've got to believe that De Zerbi has got to be pumping those players up and getting to move. Because this Leeds, if they do play up, and I hope that they do, because I think that makes for a better spectacle of football, they play up to it. They are a high-pressing team. They're going to get in Tottenham's faces. They're going to work tirelessly. And I'd be really intrigued to see how De Zerbi sets up tonight. Do you go back to that midfield three with Paulinho, with Conor Gallagher, with basically just all fight? It's just, there might not be a lot of class in here. There might not be a skill in here, but we are going to doggedly fight you. Dominic Solanke still unlikely to start tonight. Richarlison, I thought, was excellent last week. And again, he's one of those players who can get in your ear, who fights for every ball, who's just like, you feel like this could be ugly, but exactly what Tottenham need. And actually, from a Tottenham fan perspective, much like Arsenal have felt this year, ugly's fine as long as you're winning.
That's all they need. They just need to find a way to win. And I think the fans will be up for it as well, considering what happened yesterday. I've gotten a lot of texts from Tottenham fans. I think
there's going to be a lot of Spygate glasses going on. There's going to be a lot of There
was one text in particular I got from shout out Dubs, a good friend of mine, producer in the States, big time Tottenham fan. I texted him after the match, "You're welcome," and he texted me back. First time Spurs support Arsenal, and what happens is they play in white. They have an injury to a player. Players are played out of position. Horrible football for 80 minutes. VAR at the end. I'm so sorry you had to experience what I do for a whole season.
It's excellent. It's very, very good.
So I think the fans will be up for it. I think that place will be rocking, and I think Tottenham find a way to get these 3 points, and they'll be safe.
Even if they get a point tonight, and I know that that's not enough for them, and I just look at their remaining fixtures. I look at West Ham, and I just don't see where West Ham are picking up points from the last two games after yesterday. Like, that felt like the opportunity. That felt like the moment.
And that's why they're so angry, and I understand the frustration and ire that they have. But I think Tottenham finds a way. I think they'll get all 3 points. If I want to do a prediction, because I was pretty good with my predictions over the weekend, I'll do...
we'll get into that in the second hour, don't you worry.
2-1 Tottenham.
Okay.
What you got?
I mean, it doesn't count towards the league, right?
No, of course not.
I'll go 1-0 Tottenham. Okay, a sneaky victory, because that's what they need. Look, West Ham have to hope that Leeds are fully on the beach by the final day. They go to Newcastle again. Guaranteed safety after this weekend. I know it always felt a bit mad that they were even in trouble. I don't know. I felt like such a hammer blow yesterday.
No
pardon the pun. Oh, God. It's clearly Monday, isn't it?
You're on it, though. Usually Mondays, people aren't sharp on a Monday.
I feel rough. I'm not going to lie. Look, Harry Simi, who's going to join us in the studio. This Arsenal loving will continue for 15 more minutes, and I promise we will turn our attention elsewhere. We will talk. We've got Arsenal fan on fan face off as well. When does this end?
Come on, lads.
When do I have to stop talking Arsenal? We've got the Champions League final to come. I'm going to have to go to a parade.
Don't you wait. I'll pull a Chris Jericho here soon to see who is invited to the parade and who isn't. That is...
I'm not making the list.
We will see who makes the list.
Just to be clear, you promised you were going to come in with some kind of forfeit for me today. Now that you're basically, for everyone's belief, guaranteed Premier League the Premier League title.
I didn't guarantee nothing. I don't have my champion shirt. We will get to that. Trust me. We will. We have plenty of time.
We'll go around the grounds, and we'll also look at the action in La Liga, because what a stunning week it was last week with Real Madrid and now Barcelona champions for El Clasico for the first time in its history, all coming up on the S Word.
The daily deep dive into the world of football. The S Word from talkSPORT. show for people who love football in North America. And I mean the proper kind, where you only use your feet. The S Word from talkSPORT.
One day I'll listen to you on the other side of the glass and actually be ready to go before we've got to go. Leave me alone. I had a wild morning this morning, so I'm fully still adjusting to the whole day. This is the S Word from talkSPORT. I'm Will Gavin, Master Test Fatin alongside me, the show that's aimed to bridge the gap between the soccer fans of America and the football fans here in the UK. Look, you can get in touch with us on all the social media channels, all the big ones. Instagram, we're at talkSPORT S Word, X as well, and get on YouTube, get into the chat, get in there, like, subscribe, respond to videos. That whole VAR debate from the start of the show is going to be going up on YouTube shortly. So
like
get there and enjoy it. Yeah, oh, there we go. Yeah, it's all on the screen there for you. Beautiful. But look, we turn our attention back to that game, unsurprisingly, from yesterday, because it's fair to say that across talkSPORT, it's got pretty spicy off the back of West Ham Arsenal.
83 minutes on the clock. West Ham 0. Arsenal 1. They need a moment like Vincent Kompany against Leicester City. That moment's been provided by Martin Ødegaard. He's over the line. West Ham have equalised. Callum Wilson. And in stoppage time, it is West Ham 1, Arsenal 1. VAR are checking a possible handball. Was David Raya held back here? There was holding inside the penalty area. There was a push on David Raya. Was he impeded? As Pablo is the offender, according to Chris Kavanagh. He was called over to the screen by Darren England.
I think the amount you have to look at it, right, it's not clear and obvious.
But I do think, actually, you can justify the decision.
It finishes here, West Ham 0, Arsenal 1.
The amount you have to look at it time and time again makes it not clear and obvious. Minimum interference, maximum impact.
It was clear and obvious. It was clear and obvious.
I'm truly a rose between two thorns right now, because I'm delighted to say that joining myself and the brilliant Master Test Fatin in the studio is the wonderful Arsenal fan. You see him on Inside Gooners from talkSPORT. You hear him on the social regularly on talkSPORT too. And guess what? He's another Arsenal fan. Harry Simi, welcome to the studio. How are you, bro?
Thanks for having me, guys. Good to be here.
Look, we have got into this pretty in-depth today already. Let me ask, as an Arsenal fan, how you're feeling about the reaction to yesterday, because I'm sure right now you're going, I don't care, fingers in the ears, be haters as much as you want. Is there any point this is all going to get tiresome, people hammering your 1-0 wins and your VAR decisions?
We've had to deal with it all season. We've had to deal with it all season from the very beginning of the campaign, when Arsenal were winning games, perhaps not as convincingly as you'd expect the side that are expected to go on and become champions to. We've had to hear it. The style's not good. Apparently, we're the only team that grapple from set pieces. It's all become really, really tiresome. And we all knew when that decision was made yesterday that we were going to have another day, and we're probably going to have a few weeks of this now. And if we do go on to win the Premier League, we're going to have to listen to it all summer. I have no idea why.
The VAR title.
Well, I have no idea why so many people are so frustrated by Arsenal. I just don't get it.
I don't get it either.
I don't understand it. There's another team in the Premier League who are fighting for the title, who have won the league. It would be, I think, 7 from 8 if they were to win it this year. And we constantly hear people say, we don't want to become like the Bundesliga, where one team wins it every single year. So why does every neutral on the planet seem to want Manchester City to win it? Not to mention some of the other stuff that's going on in the background as well. I don't get it.
115 charges. Yeah, I agree. We call the Bundesliga a farmers league for that. And you would want the parity. You would want the opportunities for other teams to get in and being able to win titles. And I'm not saying you should hand it to Arsenal, but they've been deserving.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, the decision that everybody's talking about from yesterday, I've seen one replay. And from that point, I knew what the decision should be. The reason as a fan I was so nervous at that point and at that time is because we've seen such a lack of consistency across the season. So I understand why people are out there going, well, we've seen grappling go unpunished. This time it was punished. Where's the line? I completely understand that. But it's not Arsenal's fault that the referee...
No. And Chris Kavanagh had to make the decision on the day based on what was in front of him. I totally agree with that. But as the neutral in this situation, it is frustrating that from an Arsenal perspective, the reason it's going to get particularly hammered is because you are the masters of the dark arts. You are 27 goals from set pieces this season. Your set piece coach should be paid better than most head coaches are paid across the Premier League. And we talked about this right at the start of the show, right? Even if they did referee that properly or severely, or spent 2-3 weeks giving penalties and giving, we'll get into that in a minute, but giving penalties or giving, disallowing goals or whatever it might be, people would adjust very quickly. This idea that Arsenal wouldn't win the Premier League if that was taken out of the game, well, no, because they would adjust and they would change their approach and things would change, right? But it is frustrating that you can go back and go, well, that Man United game, well, that Newcastle game, well, that Villa game. There are very clear incidences where it has happened with not just Arsenal, West Ham against Spurs. They got a goal in right towards the death, which won them that game, and the goalkeeper was impeded. Man City against Everton just last week. The inconsistency is the thing that frustrates me as a neutral, and I am a true neutral. I am a lower division supporting fan that just wants the title race to go to the final day and wants the relegation battle to go to the final day, and that's why I'm sat there, head in hands, going, this is what we're now talking about for the next 48 hours.
But the important point is that this is a league-wide problem, that because Arsenal are the best at winning these duels, they're the best at grappling, if you want to say that, right?
I do. There were 5 West Ham players being grappled.
Well, it's been miscategorised as an Arsenal problem when it's actually a Premier League problem. And some of the examples that you mentioned there, for example, the Man United game on the first weekend, or there's the Gabriel one against Aston Villa that everybody's looking at, they're debatable. If you're jumping up alongside a goalkeeper and you come into his way, or you're leaning in, or you're standing in his space, that's very, very different to literally putting your arm across the goalkeeper, locking him down while your colleague is pulling his shirt from behind.
Yes.
So this was an example of where it was so obvious that it had to be pulled up. It's not debatable.
But Leandro Trossard, back to play, is manhandling Pablo before he touches the goalkeeper. It is very arguable that without Trossard doing that, then Pablo is never in the position to grab him because he wrestles him and moves him. So you could, if you want to do knock-on effects and what's clear and obvious and everything else, do you guys
want the grappling or not? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Do you guys want the grappling or not?
To an extent here, but there are 5 West Ham players. There are 6 outfield players in that box, and 5 of the 6 of them are fouled.
Okay, but the irony of all of that is that the same people that are saying, well, let's look back at that incident and that incident in the build-up, are the same people that are saying VAR is too much and we're over-refereeing now with its use. So what do you want?
Which one is it?
It's why I think this is a sea change moment. The fact that it's probably the biggest VAR decision in the history of the Premier League, right? It's going to directly affect relegation. It's going to directly affect the title, regardless of... And at the end of the day, I actually, as much as I'm going to argue the opposite point, overall, I think that the keeper is impeded and it probably shouldn't be a goal, right? But I understand the arguments from the other side, and I think that we are going to, in this off-season, the PGMOL are going to go back and they're going to have to figure out VAR.
Yeah.
And look...
It worked. It's doing exactly what it's intended to do, though.
But it's not doing it well.
That day, you created a system that would make sure that clear and obvious calls can be overturned that impact the title, and can impact relegation. It's doing exactly what it was set up to do. If there's any argument for VAR, it was yesterday.
As a VAR general supporter, I think it has been terribly set up from the beginning. They didn't employ a bunch of new referees. The fact that guys are refereeing a game and doing a VAR game in the same weekend should not be how it's happening. And the rules were not adjusted to account for VAR. And it's an issue with offside, and it's an issue with handball, and it is an issue with this grappling in the box situation. Because you could say, right, you want people to be physical? Let them be physical. That should be a goal. Or you could say, well, if you're going to call up one thing, you should call up the other 5 things going on.
Being physical with the defender is not the same as being physical with the goalkeeper.
There is a difference between being physical. There's a difference between being physical and dragging a player to the ground by their shirt, like Havertz did to Souček, like rugby tackling a player like Declan Rice did. Those are not just physical. Those are fouls anywhere on the pitch.
But Will, those
happen in all games. If the keeper is untouched and he catches that ball, if that happens, there are at least 3, if not 5 separate arguments for a penalty.
Surely common sense has to come in here, right? We know, and I admit it, and I've said it all season, by the way, that we've got a problem with grappling in the Premier League. But what you can't do is 2 games from the end of the season, move the goalposts, change the parameters by which you're judging these calls.
Well, you could argue that they have, because they've actually finally called it when they didn't previously.
Nobody can find me an incident that was that obvious in terms of the goalkeeper being impeded that wasn't punished. You're talking about what's going on in the box. In that game, game, there are instances where West Ham are grappling with Arsenal at the other end of the pitch, but because nothing develops of that situation, we're not looking at them. It happens every game. So what needs to happen in the summer is everybody needs to sit around the table and say, we either want this or we don't, and we have to adjust the rules accordingly. And if we go through some pain in terms of loads of penalties at the start of the new season, that's absolutely fine. That
is the point I was making earlier. I'm fine with 2 weeks at the start of the year where they really
100%.
nail down on diving,
100%.
where they really nail down, because yes, there is a grapple of the arm and everything else. 100%. I would argue there are other incidents that you have cited where, because the keeper is being backed into, there's not a grab, but there is very clear physical impedance, and I would call it impedance in the same way. The only reason, if you want to talk about the nuances of the situation, the only reason this one looks more obvious impedance is because here's where the ball is coming to, and so he could have caught it in theory.
When
If somebody has held the keeper's arm, but they've swung it out to the edge of the box, and then someone's fired it in from a distance, suddenly it's like, well, is that
they're all subjective calls. They're all subjective calls, but this one was too obvious to not pull up, and that's why that's happened. But I think for me, what we've got to do is we've got to look at yesterday's incident in isolation. Right, there's so many things going on in the box. As a team of officials, you cannot manage every single one of those situations. So you've got to look at the one that has the biggest impact. And I'm sorry, but David Raya is catching that ball.
That's
why that's the one that's been looked at.
That is my other issue with this. And this is, again, I want to harp on about a single incident. I don't want to come across as an Arsenal hater or anything else.
But, you have for the last 15 minutes.
But when I watched Darren Cann, who's not even a referee, a former assistant referee on TV last night, talk about, first he said it was the first foul. It definitely wasn't the first foul. Now, there is an argument it's the most impactful. But again, you're getting very, very subjective there with, I think if you're getting to that point of subjectivity and it's taking 5 minutes or 4 minutes and 17 seconds to make that decision, that's where I'm like rolling my eyes and saying, you've got to leave it with the call.
If it takes 5 minutes, it takes 30 seconds, they got it right.
For me, they're taking that long
but
because
but that's the problem that everyone else is complaining about. They're saying it's ruining the match day experience. It's not. There's not enough communication in stadium. It's all this other stuff. It's like, oh yeah, but unless it's with my team,
go watch the championship.
Yeah. But also, hold on a minute. You can't say on the one hand, right, that it's taking too long, it's too much interference, but then at the same time be putting forward the case that there was a number of other less impactful
That's
incidents.
my point.
So
what I'd rather happen is nothing.
Right.
Then go watch the championship. What are you watching Premier League for? Go watch the championship. If you want a league that has no VAR, that doesn't have any of those stoppages of play, go watch the championship. And there's nothing against the championship.
I'd love to be watching the championship. Football. We missed out on the League One playoffs. So
guys, people have short memories. Ultimately, the reason VAR came in is because we saw too much too many mistakes. There was too much wrong in the Premier League in terms of officiating. That's why we are in a place now where we have VAR in the first place. If you don't want it to make the big calls in the biggest game as far as both these teams are concerned, then what is the point in having it? You either bin it or but you can't move the goalposts 2 games before the end of the season. And
I think there is a fair argument that the goalposts were moved to.
No, they
weren't.
They weren't.
The goalposts are exactly.
If you can produce me one incident this season,
I'm telling you,
Arsenal got away with that was as obvious and as less subjective as that, then I'll accept it. But there isn't one.
I'm telling you, those 3 other incidents that we have cited, I think all of them the goalkeeper's impeded enough that it led to a goal. It might not be as obvious. It may not be a holding.
No one's talking about the red cards.
And I agree with you on all of that.
Arsenal's been on the other end of this so many times.
But I think you are. And I've sat here and said West Ham against Tottenham. I've sat here and I said Man City. I've agreed with all of that. But my point is that you saying that there aren't other incidents, I think, whilst it's not a hand on the arm, the goalkeeper is impeded enough that it led to a goal, so it should have been ruled out.
But there has to be a line, right? There has to be something that tips the balance between foul and not foul.
And I think the line is before those other 3 incidents, and all 4 of them should have been given, and then we're talking.
I think as a goalkeeper, when you can come out and use your hands, your knees, all the rest of it.
But they couldn't. If you take the arm,
it's not illegal. If you look at the rules of football,
Martinez one, he's being back to the line, and he can't come out and claim it.
But they both jumped together. And in that incident, if you watch the replay instead of people sharing stills online,
trust me, that's a point.
Emmy Martinez,
this guy did it yesterday. The king of the stills in the WhatsApp group, stills on
watch that back.
It's clear and obvious.
Watch that back. Emmy Martinez pushed Gabriel 3 times in the back before that incident happens because he's trying to create the advantage for himself. There's no rule in the laws of football that says that you cannot stand in a goalkeeper's way And if you're leaning on him a little bit, then again, it's a contact sport, and it's up to the referee to be subjective and decide whether or not that warrants a foul.
I'm hearing that Harry wants no attackers allowed in the 6-yard box. We're going to have to break. Brilliant stuff from you, Harry.
I want to ask about Champions League, but he took up all the time.
Yeah, there's loads of other stuff to go. I took up all the time. Yes. I would have happily not talked about Arsenal at all this hour. Thank you very much.
Hires you.
We are going to get into El Clasico in the next hour. We're going to have our fan face-off. Loads still to come on the S Word. Subscribe, like, comment, do all that good stuff. Thank you.
Around here, we only use the F word. talkSPORT presents the S Word. S Word, featuring Will Gavin and Master Tess Fassian. And a squad of big-name contributors. The S Word from talkSPORT.
Welcome back to the S Word from talkSPORT. Get in touch with us on YouTube. We are at the talkSPORT S Word. You'll find us there. You'll find us at talkSPORT S Word on Instagram, on X, and you'll find us personally there as well. Drop us a DM. Give me some hate. Give Master some love, because
I'm sure I'll get some hate too, because everyone is on your side, I feel like.
You say that. I have felt very much ganged up again today with Harry in studio. I feel like
you got into
we're
it.
more split than it is. It was good fun.
Yeah,
it was good fun.
Into the banter. Hopefully PGMOL. I'm sure they'll be hitting you up and asking for some recommendations.
I hate the idea that I'm Mr. PGMOL all of a sudden. Trust me, I am absolutely not. So you can get on to
offsides, handballs.
You can get in the chat. Let us know your thoughts. They should be asking me how to fix VAR, because I will.
You got some thoughts?
Yeah,
I
definitely
clearly
have some thoughts.
We've been talking for an hour about this,
and it's only going to continue because we've got the fan face-off coming up momentarily here on talkSPORT. Also, we're going to be going around the grounds. There's some great stuff to get into from this weekend we've not done yet. Spygate. everything that happened with Middlesbrough and Southampton.
Get your binoculars out.
The Old Firm and the SPL going to the final week of the season. There's been some madness on the continent as well for us here in the UK. Croatia's eternal derby, Milan nonsense going on, like all of that as well. Plus, we will turn our attention to La Liga because El Clasico decided the La Liga title for the first time in the history of La Liga, which is astonishing. Marcus Rashford's incredible free kick opening the scoring as Barcelona are out 2-0 winners against, let's be honest, a Real Madrid team who have had better weeks. We'll get into all of that in this hour. But it is time for the Monday Fan Face-Off, and I'm delighted to say welcoming to the show. We're welcoming back friends of the show who did this with us when we were first doing the pilot for the show. It's Trent, it's Tyler, it's some Arsenal and Man City action. Gents, how are we doing?
Good, how are you doing?
Yeah,
fantastic. Can't complain.
Yeah, Tyler, let's come to you first.
Absolutely.
There's been plenty of talk about the nature of the victory yesterday, but just as a fan, 24 hours removed, not quite. How are you feeling right now?
Well, I'll take the 3 points and move on. Take it on the chin and move. That's what we do. Head down, keep grinding. We got 2 more matches to play until we hold up some silverware. So that's all we got in our minds. That's all the fans have in their minds. That's all the players have in their minds. They're not trying to, answer any trick questions. They just want to keep their head down, grind it out, graft it out, and move forward. So that's what we're doing.
Trent, were you watching the game yesterday, and what did you make of the controversy?
I watched every second. I'll be honest with you. It was a little devastating for it to be called back. There was a lot of fouls going on in the middle of the box. There's a lot going on, but at the end you have to concede. He did get his shirt pulled from behind. He did get his hand held. You can't complain with VAR. Sometimes you can. Varsenal's going to win Varsenal. But it is
no.
It is something that you have to understand. VAR is there for a reason.
You sound pretty down. I'm not going to lie. Are you conceding the title at this point? This doesn't feel like I was expecting at least a bit of fight about it.
No, look, we're not supposed to be here, right? This season, we were told, we're going to place 4th, 3rd. I'm not conceding the title. They got a couple strong games coming ahead. You got to finish the game, but you can't argue with that VAR call, man. Now, you can in the box, but with the goalkeeper, you can't.
Tyler, he's over there calling it Varsenal. I saw the face that you made there.
Yeah, man.
I need this proper banter because I know you guys have been going at it for quite some time now. What'd you think about that one? It's got the picture pulled up.
That's right. Pulled up. He's got his shirt.
Right, we need to stop sharing stills on social media. Stills don't represent what happened. Whether you argue that decision or not, stills on social media are the worst. And it doesn't matter if it's football.
Fair play.
It's nonsense.
My man's got his arms on Raya's hands. His only job is to be able to grab the ball in a corner kick, and he's also getting his kit pulled. That's not running. That doesn't work.
My problem with the stills on social media, let me tell you what my problem with it is that you're absolutely right. He does get impeded. He does get stopped there. Put the video up. We live in 2026. Show the video. No. When people, I'm getting this out there because when people,
you got it out there the whole hour.
Look, watch this. Watch this. Watching master screen. Right? That wouldn't have impeded him in any way, shape, or form. But if you showed the still of me doing that, you could argue, he's holding his arm. That's why stills are nonsense. Show me video.
Do you think that he was just graciously tapping his arm and making
No, he wasn't on this occasion. He wasn't on this occasion. I'm just saying it's my pet peeve. It's my pet peeve.
That's what I say. There was no movement to his arm when he had his hand there.
What are we talking about? This is during the last minute of a football match in which we are gunning for the Premiership and they are gunning to be saved from relegation. And you're saying that he didn't have his hand there when the corner kick was taken.
He had his hand there, but also there was no movement to his hand.
No, absolute madness. The VAR got it right, 100%. David Raya was incredibly impeded to the point of he wasn't able to even touch the ball. So let's just move on from that. That was a great. He
also basketball flopped immediately afterwards. By the way,
Trent, you represent.
A foul is a foul.
Trent, you represent the Man City chapter in Atlanta. Tyler, of course, you represent the Miami Gooners. Trent, I'm curious what the group chats, what the reaction has been from your chapter in Atlanta after that VAR decision.
Absolutely devastated. I'll be honest with you. The whole there was about 5 different fouls in that box at the same time. Everyone was really upset by it, I'll be honest with you. But it's one of those things, as a Man City fan, we understand we got to move forward. We can only do what we can do. We can laugh at the situation and just accept the call. A lot of pissed off people in the group chat, I'll tell you that.
Tyler, what about you? I know you watched it at the bar in Miami. What was the response and the reaction from that decision?
Absolutely. Shout out to the bar. Great place. If you guys are ever in Arsenal fans, come through. The
Am I not welcome?
Is
that what you're saying?
It is a great place to watch a match. I'm not gonna lie. So was the Brewhouse Cafe.
Group chat was absolutely elated. And Trent, it warms my heart to hear that you guys were upset. And we're down at the dumps, to be quite honest with you. But listen, the group chat is being honest, right? There were fouls in the box, yes, but the biggest foul was on David Raya, who had the opportunity to collect the ball and move on with the next phase of play. He wasn't able to do that. We put the ball in the back of the net, as we usually do. 1-0 to the Arsenal, we take it and move.
What did you think?
End of story.
This is where we need clarity, though. Biggest foul, first foul, all of that nonsense. It's like, does the sequence of them matter? Does the severity of them matter? Like, it's just nonsense. All of it is nonsense.
Sure. What do you think? Does any of that matter in this situation?
I think that there was a lot of impeding in the box. I mean, I'll be honest with you. When a goalkeeper's hand's being held, it's really up to the referee. I mean, VAR looked at it. They said that there's a possible foul. They left it up to the referee. It's a big call that's going to impact a lot of things, and from relegation all the way to the championship.
But particularly here, we saw Pep, come on, you Irons, before at the end of his press conference. We saw how much was riding on this decision, this match. As a City fan, do you still believe? Do you still think there's a chance?
There's always a chance with City. You got to finish out the season. It's really going to be up to Arsenal, see if they can finish it out in the next 2 games. We're going to be there. We're going to win it. That's about all that we can do as City fans right now.
Tyler, he says he's going to win it. Do you think that's the case?
Yeah, it's not in his hands, so he can allow that. It's not in his hands right now. It's in ours, and we have Burnley left, and we have Palace away. So I think that we'll be able to get the job done.
Who might be celebrating a European title at that point. It's
potentially, yeah. I think we'll be able to get the job over. At the same time, you have to keep putting it into perspective, right? City still have the Cherries away, and man like Kruppi are doing a madness right now. So that's going to be very difficult for them to kind of get over that hurdle. So I don't think, 1, it's not in your hands. 2, going away from home at Burnley is going to be a tough day for you guys. So keep that in mind. But yeah, I think we'll be able to do the double.
Trent, what happened to the bottles? Where's all the bottling talk? Where's all that banter that we saw a month ago? It's a bit more tame today.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, man. It's really, we're not supposed to be here. We're kind of laughing at the situation ourselves.
Not supposed to be here.
All right, tell me this.
I love to hear that.
You're not supposed to be here and everything else.
We're going to rebuild this year. If Arsenal would have done what they needed to do in the beginning of the season, in the middle of the season, at the end of the season, and win the games that they needed,
what we need to do right now. We're top of the league. We got the games in our head.
After a 9-point deficit that we overcame through to your lack of being able to finish.
My man,
games
you just tied Everton, and you're down on points. You're not equal to us right now. We are doing what we need to do. We are winning matches. We are not conceding goals. We're moving on. 2 more games until silverware is in our hands, and then you can chat to me.
Absolutely, man. We'll see if you guys have the strong arm to finish it.
Very good. Very good. But the issue is, like, you may get to the Premier League, and look, this is not aimed at you. This is not aimed at Master. I'm sure that you're going to call me an Arsenal hater and everything else.
You are.
You have taken advantage of a poor season in the Premier League. This Arsenal team, playing as you have played over the last 5 months, would not win the Premier League title in 4 of the last 5 years. No chance. It's like literally no chance. And if you play like you played yesterday, Paris Saint-Germain are going to tear you to pieces.
Yeah, you're 3 games away from not winning anything.
Tyler, please, can you?
You should have sealed the Premier League title weeks ago.
Tyler, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. And we're not supposed to be here. And the fact that we're talking about a VAR in the 90th, 80 something minute of a game, 3 games to go, is laughable, because we shouldn't be here. You guys should have won it already. And so the whole fact that we're here, we're taking it as it goes, because we don't know what's going to happen. We're coming from 9 points down, and
I know it's
now
you guys are going to tie or lose against Bournemouth, and then it'll be done deal, sorted. Anyway, with regard to what Will was saying. With regard to what Will was saying.
So Arsenal winning by default. You're celebrating Arsenal winning by default. That's what I'm hearing.
The fact that we haven't lost in the Champions League? Are you forgetting that? Are you forgetting that this is the best defense in Europe? Why are you talking like, oh, PSG's going to do a madness to you guys? Mate, look
if you play like you did yesterday, they will.
And we're not even, Timber's not even playing right now, bro. And the defense is locked down. No, PSG's not going to do anything like that. We're going to sort it out. We're going to be done, deal, delivered. It's going to be so
Timber
easy.
coming back from injury, going against the best winger in European football and maybe the future Ballon d'Or winner. I'm not worried.
Listen, I'm not worried. And you as an Arsenal hater should be, because I can't wait till Master has the last laugh and is chatting to you in the DMs and is posting all this stuff.
Oh, we won't need to be on the DMs. We're going to be on these cameras, and I'll be. There'll be
2 massive trophies, and you have nothing to say. That's what I can't wait to hear, and I'd love to see that in a couple of weeks.
The fact you said the same thing about the Carabao Cup.
You're in second place right now, and you guys still have to hurdle Bournemouth. Once that's done, you can talk to me. But otherwise, we're in first place. We've got 2 games left. One's at the Emirates. You know how that goes. And one is away. You know how that goes. So I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks' time with a trophy in my hand. Maybe a new tattoo to celebrate the occasion.
What one trophy?
And we'll see. Give me a month. And June 1st, I'll talk to you. I'll send you a local message.
May 31st is the parade, just to keep that in mind.
There you go.
It's got to be said. Arsenal doing this whole, we're going to do the parade on May 31st, whether it's for the Premier League or the Champions League or the double. It's the most hedging bets thing of all time. It's the most
Tyler, did you remember how City's parade looked like?
We might lose on Saturday night, but at least we still won the other one, so we're still going to have a parade. It's silly. It's very silly.
And the players have faith, and a lot of faith-based religions speak those things as though they were. That's what the Arsenal is doing right now. So they're making plans to start celebrating in the future, because they know what's lying ahead of them in just a couple of weeks' time.
Trent, are you speaking into existence the greatest hate watch you've ever seen of all time for the next couple of weeks?
Absolutely. No one likes to see the dark arts win. You know,
the dark arts. You guys have 115 undone charges, bro. Like what are you talking about?
That has nothing to do with the play of field, man. That has nothing to do with what's going on the pitch.
But behind it, is that what you're saying? So dark arts only matter only occur on the pitch, not behind.
Arsenal's getting right now from everybody. You know, Man City is about to win their 6th and 8th years, and people are still not wanting Arsenal to win. It's because the way you guys play on the field, the way that you represent the Premier League, nobody likes to see the dark arts win.
Yeah, nobody likes to see a great defense. Nobody likes to see goals scored by various players. People don't like to see that. You're right. Yeah, you're right. But you know what? I don't care. We don't care. What did Eb say just a couple of weeks ago? I don't care what other people are thinking or saying about us. We're gonna get the job done. We'll take the silverware and we'll move, because it'll look a lot nicer at the Emirates than it will the Etihad. So that's what we're at.
It's gonna have a lot more space.
You still have to play those games.
I don't know. Listen, both of you, all the Arsenal hate, it's all right. It's all right. Like, I'll take it on the chin. We'll take it on the chin. We'll move. But we're happy with the way that we play. We're happy with our defense. We're happy with our boys, the way that they're playing. They're getting the results. They're not conceding goals. What more can you ask for?
Trent, do you think this is it for Pep? And Tyler, I'll throw it back to you as well, so you can banter with him on this one. If this is it for Pep, I mean, Arsenal winning the title on his final season with Man City, I'm sure there's got to be a sweet way to end the drought.
I really don't think that it's going to be the end with Pep. You know, if we win a domestic treble for the 2nd time, the only team in history to do it once, let alone twice, I think he might bow out. But I don't think he wants to at this point. I think he wants to see this rebuild that we are currently in, a rebuild where we're contending for a Premier League championship. I think he's going to want to see it out. He is a man of his word when it comes to his contract. He's never backed out of a contract prior to the end of his contract. I do think he'll be here for one more year. And I think next year, after this rebuild's got everything kind of built together, I think next year you can say bye-bye Premier League, bye-bye Champions League. I think he's going to want to go for it all next year.
Gents.
Yeah, I think.
Go on. No, please.
Yeah, I think that Pep. I think it'll be the most poetic end of the season to have his protege win the Premier League. So with that said, if he leaves, he leaves. If he stays, we'll beat him again.
Tyler Trent, brilliant stuff as always. Thank you so much, gents. Really appreciate your time. The Fan Face Off. Check out the fine work that they do there, and keep getting in touch with us at the S Word, talkSPORT S Word on with the S Word on YouTube, with at talkSPORT S Word on Instagram and on X as well. We'd love to hear from you there. So to come, we're going to reflect on the action in La Liga. What a night for Barcelona. Hansi Flick, what a 48 hours for him. The emotion, the outpouring. Sometimes it's what football really is all about. Plus, there's loads of other stuff we've not talked about from the weekend. We'll get into all of it as we go.
You've been talking about VAR for a whole hour and a half.
No, I mean, you have no issue talking about Arsenal for an hour and a half.
Or not. Top of the league.
There's reason to talk about it. Frank. All coming up on the S Word.
From kickoff to the full-time whistle, talkSPORT presents the S Word. Kickoff to the full-time whistle. Don't say the S word. Say the F word. Football. The S word from talkSPORT.
That's right, around here we say the F word, not the S word. We don't have our buzzers today. We haven't had any props or anything. That is
a sign of a Monday. I'm not going to lie to you. Everything else. All we need is this.
yeah. Just
this all we need in life.
Wiped out. Still to come, we will reflect on the action from El Clasico. Barcelona winning La Liga for the 29th time and doing it for the first time ever between either of those sides during El Clasico. What a sensational performance from them against a much beleaguered side in Real Madrid this week. But we're going to go around the grounds now, show some of the things that have happened around football that we want to touch on. Before we actually get into our kind of topics we discussed in advance, breaking news in the last 20 minutes or so, Beth Mead is going to be leaving Arsenal this summer, the latest in a line of big names who seem to be moving on in the WSL and beyond. We talked about this with Angelina last week, but the situation going on with Barcelona women, and whilst they're still in the Champions League final, their money problems, like Beth Mead moving on, big name players left, right and centre. You know, Man City are losing money on what is as they're about to win the title. Like, what does this speak to as a state of WSL right now, and where does Beth Mead go?
That's what I'm trying to figure out too. This is she's a club legend, obviously being part of Arsenal's women's squad that was able to get it over the line and win Women's Champions League. She'll go down as a legend for that, and obviously an England international legend as well, considering what they've been able to accomplish on the international stage. But, you know, it is very interesting as the salaries continue to increase in women's soccer, both WSL and NWSL and other leagues as well, trying to make sure that they can maintain in this arms race. Get your money, girl. Wherever that is,
100%.
Get your money, girl. If that happens to be the NWSL, which now because of the Trini Rodman rule, we're seeing $1 million contracts being handed left and right, and she would clearly qualify for one of those. If she has an opportunity to do so, get your money, girl. Maybe if she stays in WSL, London City Lionesses, we've seen Michelle Kang, a lot of possibilities of them throwing around money as they continue to try and establish an independent women's football club model. We'll see where she goes. But what is she, 31 now, I think it is? So she's got a couple more years left. I would try, and I hope she does as well, maximize your financial earnings as much as you can. She's accomplished almost everything she possibly could at this point. Well deserving, and hopefully she gets a great ovation on her way out.
You see, bust some Beth Mead dance moves. It's all I wanted. It's all I wanted.
I mean, we got it from you.
Yeah, nobody wants to see me dance at any point.
We just did.
Anyone who's seen me at a wedding, anyone who's seen me on a night out.
Who's worse, you or Arteta? Who's got more stiff hips?
Oh, Ted Lasso. It's definitely Arteta.
Is it?
Like, I mean, I'm a lithe man. I'm just a large man, so that's why it's you know, like a bowl of jelly wiggling around out on the dance floor. Nobody needs to see it. Look, Spygate. We didn't get into this.
No, we didn't.
But Championship playoffs, a little bit disappointing on the field this weekend. 2 0-0 draws. Tonight, Hull face Millwall live on talkSPORT 2, and tomorrow night the second leg of Southampton against Middlesbrough. But they had some fun before the game with Spygate, the Borough fans. It's fair to say Southampton turning up. We had the goggles out. We had just. This is going to be something which I think rumbles on all the way through. Like, should they be knocked out of the playoffs? Could this be something that you look at their fine run of form? You see that 19 games that they have just been sensational since the new manager came in. How much of that is maybe because of a little Bill Belichicking, a little bit cheeky behind the scenesing, a little bit of filming other people's training. Like, other championship clubs are going to start accusing them. We're going to start seeing CCTV footage being poured over left, right and centre. Like, suddenly, just men in bushes with binoculars, not anything like that. Don't get weird about it. Like, I think it's going to kick on and kick on, but at least the Borough fans had some fun with it.
Oh, they had some great fun with it. It was great to see the fans going back and forth. I don't know if we have the video for that, but that part was enjoyable. And ultimately, all of that spying they did led to 0 goals in the first leg. So, and truth be told, it was a very exciting first half. And there was, I think 20 shots on target, I think Middlesbrough had in that first half. So there was a lot of chances they had to try and take the advantage in the first leg. But Southampton got away with it.
The championship playoffs confuse and frustrate me slightly. Like, they're putting them on the weekend going up against big Premier League games. You know, we're kicking off Middlesbrough Southampton at the same time as Liverpool-Chelsea. And maybe it's not the best Liverpool-Chelsea game of the last 5 years.
Trust me, Middlesbrough-Southampton was a lot better to watch than what I saw from Chelsea-Liverpool. That game was awful.
It's
awful.
It's still people are still going to be gravitating towards the big names. Those are still two of the most well-supported clubs in the country, in the world even. Like, that is frustrating to me. And then we're playing the second legs 2 and 3 days later when the final isn't
That part I don't understand.
The final isn't for nearly 2 weeks.
I don't understand.
Why aren't they playing these games on Wednesday? Why aren't they playing these games on Thursday when there's no Champions League? Tonight, admittedly, Hull Millwall isn't the sexiest tie in the world, but it's got to go up against Tottenham Leeds, which is basically for Tottenham to survive if they win that game. I get a little frustrated with it. It's the Championship loves to cite, and rightly so, that the fan numbers, the TV viewing numbers, the everything else puts it right up there with the biggest leagues in world football and certainly in Europe. And yet we find ourselves having to see them compete left, right and centre with the biggest teams, whereas they should be on a pedestal. They should be held up to be these great events that they are.
I mean, for those fans like yourself who don't want to watch a league that has VAR and clear and obvious errors that are overturned by video, you have another option tonight.
You can watch VAR, ruining my whole weekend.
You can watch Hull Millwall.
Are we getting back into this again?
I just threw the option out there. It's an alternative viewing. Just a possibility.
Absolutely sticking the knife in.
One thing to note about Beth Mead as well, real quick, the Women's World Cup is next summer.
Mm-hmm.
So a move for her coming off the bench at Arsenal, you kind of have to imagine she's probably trying to find a place where she can get some minutes to get one last stab at the World Cup playing for England. So wanted to make sure I threw that out there as well, just to make sure we got the full picture of what's going on Beth Mead. But of course, we will continue to follow on the SWOT.
Should we talk Croatia? We have got video of this one.
Okay.
We have got video. The eternal derby. And look, Master, you are paying attention to this. Some wild behaviour from the fans.
There it is, right there.
Talk us through it, man.
Yes, so what we have here is obviously a tifo and between Dinamo Zagreb and Split.
Split, yeah.
And the away side was able to plot a device underneath their tifo. I don't know how they did it, the elaborate scheme it took, but as you can see, the device sparked their tifo on fire as they were holding it up and set aflame their tifo without anyone knowing how or what had happened. There's a fire extinguisher, obviously someone trying to take it out, and it just, to the delights, I believe it was of Split fans who did this and made this happen. That is the most genius, clever thought process. You had to have thought this out.
Obviously, we want to praise safety, and there should be things like that, etc.
Yes,
but
of course. No one was hurt while this all happened, so thankfully. But I mean, how cheeky is that?
If you can do it in a safe way, that's pretty wild.
That is insane. And it just shows you again the levels to derbies as there is in Croatia and in other countries as well. They were not alone.
We got video as well, Prague, from yesterday, because this was equally wild in the chaos of the Prague derby rematch that was going on over the weekend. Look at that! Like, here we're desperately trying to stop people from bringing a flare in. They've managed to not only storm the field, but make it all the way down to the far end. And again, we want people to be safe. But man, that's absolutely wild scenes. It's genuinely like something out of Lord of the Rings or something, not for the overweight nerd to cite.
Where's that? Where's that?
Lord of the Rings or anything, but yeah, the Ultimo nerd.
Yes.
But like that looked like a battle out of a film or something, some Game of Thrones action. What on earth?
And they're throwing it back. This is insane. I don't even know how you're able to. What is the security like for this? To just have an entire ultras just bombard the pitch. You can't even see the field. You can't see anything. All you see is red flares thrown back and forth. Oh, is it Slavia Prague?
What's really funny is the fans actually from where that's being shot from are just sat nicely in their seats because they've kind of targeted the ultras end. The guys who are watching from the side of the field about level with the 18-yard box are just sat there and just like sipping on their cup of tea and just having a lovely. I don't know if they're drinking tea, probably unlikely in Prague. Having a bovril,
yes.
Have you enjoyed a bovril? Is that part of your induction into the? Oh man, we're getting you some bovril. Look. Part of our show is we want to bring you into. We want our North American fans to receive the love that they deserve, but we're also bringing you in culturally to some of the moments that you've maybe not seen. Some of the things if you've never enjoyed a bovril at a game. Well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go to a lower league game and we're going to go and have a bovril and stand on a cold terrace and stand and watch.
What is it? It's like poutine or something?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, kind of. It's basically gravy. It's basically drinkable gravy. It's basically meat juice in a cup, and it is delicious, and it's the most warming thing on a cold night. If you're at Sutton United on a Thursday night,
a hot cocoa, you can't
hot cocoa. No, you want a bovril, my friend.
No, give me a hot chocolate. I'll be okay.
Delicious.
But also, Slavia Prague Sparta. The match got vacated, as you can imagine.
That's not a surprise.
Yeah, so, but. It's some crazy scenes that we've seen.
Consider me shooketh.
With your bottle gravy?
Yeah, not bottled. It's like instant gravy, but
is there biscuits at least? Can we get some biscuits and gravy?
No, it's wrong kind of gravy. This isn't white gravy. This is brown meat gravy.
You can do biscuits and gravy with.
I love biscuits and gravy. I love me a bit of Americana, but that's not the one. Old Firm. This is exciting. The Scottish Premiership is going down to the wire. And we talked a little bit about Hearts Motherwell earlier on. Hearts.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to catch that one, but I definitely watched the Old Firm. And
last-minute penalty decision, wow. VAR. Referee goes to the screen and decides to stick with his on-field decision and not give Hearts a penalty. And then Celtic close the gap to just a point. And the overhead kick, and unfortunately, for rights reasons, we can't show you this. But, oh, my word. Unbelievable. And
Maeda with the overhead kick to make it 3-1 and put that fixture to bed. But also, I mean, putting Rangers' hopes.
9 days ago, Rangers were as in the title races.
They were in control.
They're now guaranteed third place with 2 games to
before
go.
The split. Rangers was 1 point off of Hearts going into the split. And they have just capitulated since then. And it looks like it's a 2-team race right now between Hearts and Celtic. And they face off the final match of the season at Celtic. It is good to see, and it's nice to see the split actually working in its intention. But that overhead kick, that bicycle kick, that will go down in infamy in this Old Firm derby. That was a tremendous, tremendous score.
The only thing that changes next weekend is if Celtic lose midweek and Hearts win, but it's not going to happen. It's just the footballing gods. They might have given us VAR deciding
Hearts
the
have
Premier
Rangers,
League
I think it
yesterday,
is?
but in midweek we are going to see results that give us the run-in that Scottish football deserves, the split deserves. I'm so excited for it. And finally, the first woman to win a game as a manager in Europe's top 5 leagues. What a story this is.
A tremendous story. Union Berlin making history as they hired a women manager for their club to take over in the interim and was able to pull off the victory. First time we've seen this happen where a woman has won in the European top 5 leagues. A tremendous moment. Great to see the celebrations. Great to see them, the progression that we've seen in the Bundesliga and just their ability to be inclusive. They absolutely deserved it. I don't want to butcher her name. I'm trying to make sure I have it here properly.
Mary Louise Ita.
Mary Louise Ita.
Yeah.
She's the one that took over as the interim manager and, being able to pull off the 3-1 victory at Mainz. Tremendous result for Union Berlin and a tremendous moment for the Bundesliga and top 5 European football. And hopefully this is a sign of more things to come because she has absolutely earned this opportunity and is making the most of this going into the run-in.
Do you think it's something that they are more likely to accept in German football? Because even when you've talked about the very biggest names in women's football getting an opportunity or a crack in the Premier League or even in the lower divisions here, it's been met with, I think it's fair to say, a little bit of derision.
Yeah. Bundesliga would be the place to have more inclusivity and in terms of whether it's race, religion, sexuality. The Bundesliga kind of has always been at the forefront, the cutting edge. Clubs like St. Pauli, of course, being able to really push the boundaries in terms of inclusivity. So yeah, I would say Germany.
An international manager, maybe. I mean, obviously we've seen Emma Hayes go and take over the US women's national team.
Take over the men's team as well.
Like honestly, I can see her being somebody who gets an opportunity with a developing nation or somebody that's on the outskirts of these competitions. I mean, honestly, I'd welcome her getting a job in the top 2 flights of English football in a heartbeat. I think she's brilliant, but there is just this barrier for some fans that they're just not going to accept it. And I just think this isn't on the pitch. Any physical differences between men and women do not matter when it comes to the mental acuity of the person who is managing my football team. And I am all for it. I would love to see it.
We've seen an MLB, of course, with the Marlins, but it was short-lived, unfortunately. But the other part we have to account as well is that women having the choice and the option because, for a lot of them, the idea of building up women's soccer is just as compelling, if not more compelling, than breaking through on the men's side. So being respectful either way of whatever decisions are being made, because with the way women's soccer is growing right now, the idea that you can help build that up and creating literally opportunities for women's soccer, different leagues, clubs, players, etc., and growing that, as we're talking about the salaries with Beth Mead, that also presents itself a tremendous opportunity that I wouldn't diminish any more or less because you're breaking through on the men's side. I think it's just as tremendous what Emma's doing for the U.S. women's team and how she has been able to solidify.
Because they've really missed success over the years.
We have. We brought in a guy and he stunk, Andonovski, and he's now gone, thank God. And now we're back to where we belong as a dominant force in women's soccer, thank God.
Right, let's turn our attention to Spain because La Liga was decided this weekend. Of course, you can still get in touch on any of the topics we're discussing on today's show, very much still including the VAR controversy from yesterday, as much as Master wants to claim it's not a controversy. All these
the right call.
The right call. On the screen here at talkSPORT S Word, on Instagram, on X, and on YouTube. You can get in the comments, you can get in the chat. Let us know your thoughts. And we'll be talking with Terry Gibson. He was at the game yesterday, former footballer as well, brilliant pundit, and he'll be joining us next here on the S Word.
Big name reaction from both sides of the pond. The S Word from talkSPORT. presents the S Word. Get your full-on football fix from across the football galaxy. The S Word from talkSPORT.
Welcome back to the S Word from talkSPORT.
Throw me on the spot. We're back, baby.
Yeah, I just literally did it as we go. Do you want to pick up here?
Sure, why not? Shout out to all the fans watching us on YouTube, wherever you may find us. Call us in if you have any thoughts. Text if you agree with what Will has said about VAR. If you haven't, please give us a shout. WhatsApp number is right there. Also, give us a follow on Instagram at talkSPORT S Word. We're also on X and YouTube. Also, please subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, where you can find the S Word.
Lovely. See, that was beautiful.
You like that?
Stunning.
Yeah,
I love that.
I'm doing a little better. You're better at it, though, than I.
Let's talk about the action in La Liga yesterday, because Marcus Rashford's stunning free kick kicked things off as Barcelona beat Real Madrid to seal their 29th La Liga title, and for the first time it was decided during El Clasico. And look, it came after Hansi Flick found out about the passing of his father over the weekend as well. Both players running over to their head coach when they scored in emotional scenes, and it comes off the back of, I think it's fair to say, not the best week in Los Blancos history. So much to get into, and I'm delighted to say a man who has boots on the ground and does brilliant work, both on La Liga and here on talkSPORT on a regular basis. Terry Gibson joins the show. Terry, how are you, brother?
I'm very well. That's very kind of you. Thanks for having me on.
Look, just talk to us about the scenes yesterday at the Camp Nou where, you know, there was always the opportunity that there was going to be an upset. There was always that possibility. It's El Clasico after all, but they get it over the line and in the best way possible.
Yeah, because we can never write off Real Madrid. They don't mind a comeback or two in their history, and they were defiant to a degree. I think their performance last night was pretty reasonable, to be honest, and we did have concerns going into the game because of what's happened this week, because Kylian Mbappe wasn't playing. Dean Howson pulled out the game literally 10 minutes before kickoff. We got news that I think he had a stomach upset just before kickoff. Everything was going wrong for Real Madrid, and you just thought there was a potential for them to capitulate last night. And when they went 2-0 down early on, I actually thought this could get nasty now, but it didn't. They still thought they could get back into the game. They fought to the very end. There was no complaints last night about Real Madrid's performance and their behaviour afterwards as well. And so, but the debate and the narrative now is about the second half of the season. The mistake of letting Xabi Alonso leave, replacing him with Alvaro Arbeloa. It's been a disaster. Florentino Perez is coming under. He's the one that should be getting the criticism, not so much Arbeloa. Florentino Perez backed the players instead of backing Xabi Alonso. And the players have shown that they're not capable of running Real Madrid. It's gone horribly wrong. It's been a massive turnaround in the second half of the season. Week 24, Barcelona were 2 points behind Real Madrid. They just lost to Girona. They've now won 11 straight games and now 14 points ahead of Real Madrid. And that's 11 games that has happened. A 16-point turnaround, which meant they wrapped up the league title. They're now going for 100 points. It's been a great season for Barcelona domestically, and it's been a disaster for Real Madrid.
It's tough to put into context how poorly Real Madrid has been and how much Barcelona has taken advantage of that. But I want to go back to that match and the way it started. Marcus Rashford, the free kick that he had to open up the scoring, a beautiful, beautiful take just on the Courtois, who's usually one of the best goalkeepers in the world, could not reach. How effective has Marcus Rashford been for Barcelona? And has his recent performances that we've seen, is Marcus Rashford a guy that has to make this England national team for the World Cup now?
Well, to answer that question, the last one, yes, I think he will be in the World Cup squad, and I think his form suggests that he should be in the team. And as for the rest of it, I'm absolutely delighted. We had 3 English players playing in the Clasico last night. That hasn't happened before. That started a Clasico. Rashford came off the bench in the first one. Trent Alexander-Arnold was involved, but to have 3 English players starting, and personally, I want them all to succeed. And Marcus Rashford, he's had his critics, and the question is still up for debate. Is he going to stay at Barcelona? No one appears to know the answer, if I'm being honest. His form has been really good. He's been a really important member of the squad. He's a popular member of the squad as well. And the fans like him. So on the face of it, we're talking business. That's the reason why it's not given that he's going to stay at Barcelona. The problem is the transfer fee. Barcelona will only have a certain amount of money to spend. And the other problem is his salary. They can't afford his full salary on a longer contract. So they're the issues. They're the only things stopping. The players want him to stay. The supporters want him to stay. He played a really big part because Lewandowski's been injured for a lot of the season. Rafinha's missed a lot of the season. Lamine Yamal is now missing as well. Ferran Torres lost confidence. But Marcus Rashford has been a constant. He's been fit all season. He's contributed really well. 14 goals in all competitions. And that was an absolute dream last night, wasn't it? That for him to play in a Classico, to get picked to start in a game where they could win the league. And 9 minutes in, he puts one in the top corner that even Thibaut Courtois couldn't save.
I'll take it one step further. Yeah, I want to take it one step further with you. You said clearly Marcus Rashford deserves to be on the England's national team for the World Cup. With his form and how good it has been, and we've seen some of the form from other players on England's team maybe fading off, is this a guy that maybe deserves to be in the starting 11?
Yeah, I think his form, and play him on the right, play him on the left. He's played on both positions for Barcelona, and his form has been really good. It's incredibly difficult to be the one of the first names on the team sheet at Barcelona. If everybody's fit, we know it's Lamine Yamal's playing on the right. We know Rafinha's probably going to play on the left. He's played down the middle. He's played as a number 10. He's played in all different positions, but his best position is out wide on the left. And I think I'm pretty sure he'll be starting for England in the World Cup. I'd be surprised if he isn't. And it's pleasing to see a young, well, I say young player, he's 28 now, but he always appears to me to be a young player. That's had a little bit of an issue with his club, Man United, then went on loan to Aston Villa. It was a slight surprise when he got the loan to Barcelona, but he's grabbed it with both hands. And I think we've always seen there's talent there with Marcus Rashford. And Hansi Flick takes so much credit for this title win. The second one. I mean, he's changed the positions of some players. He's rejuvenated Marcus Rashford to the extent when Rashford isn't playing, he comes off the bench and he still has an impact. Hansi Flick is hugely responsible for this second title and the first one, of course. But no, Marcus Rashford has been outstanding for Barcelona this season.
Obviously, there was a huge amount of focus as well yesterday on the tragic news of Hansi Flick's father passing. Reflect on the scenes we saw yesterday there. And on the back of that, I mean, with his performance in the second half of the season, with what he's done with those players, he's got to be in the conversation for the best manager in the world football now.
When you think how that he's been hampered at Barcelona by the fact that in the time he's been there, Real Madrid have spent over 200 million and got Kylian Mbappe. And last summer, they spent 27 million, Barcelona. They made a profit from selling players. So he's almost been handicapped when you're competing against Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid, who spent big money last season. Barcelona bought a goalkeeper and Rooney Bardghji for 2.5 million from Copenhagen. And to win 2 titles on the trot up against those Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid, whilst you've got those financial issues at Barcelona, I mean, he's an incredible coach. His DNA was put into the team from the first game. As soon as he took over, that's really, really difficult for any manager to be able to do that. We saw Xabi Alonso couldn't do it. He got given 6 months. He couldn't get his methods across to the players. But at Barcelona with Hansi Flick, from day one, you're looking and thinking, oh, a really high defensive line. They're really working hard to win the ball back high up the pitch. He's playing a double pivot instead of just one defensive midfield player like Busquets in the past. And immediately it had an impact. And also the thing I like about him, as a coach, he gets the best out of players. He likes he bringing the young players through, but he's not afraid to put a left back who's pretty average in Gerard Martin, but he saw something in him where he could be a left-sided centre-back. And we're looking and thinking, I can't see that working. And it has worked to a degree. Eric Garcia can play all sorts of positions, but now I'm looking at him and thinking, do you know what? I think he might be Barcelona's best right-back. So he's changed, he's tinkered with players. Ferran Torres was a winger. He's turned him into a centre-forward. To improve players individually as well as the team, he's getting everything he can out of Barcelona, out of the players at Barcelona. He said it's going to be his last job. He's never going to take another job, but he wants to stay at Barcelona for a long time. So I think the job he's done
to go out on, to be fair.
I know. Yeah. He's managed Germany, managed Bayern Munich, and he had to be patient. It was over a season and a half before he was Barcelona manager in the Camp Nou. They were playing in different stadiums. This season, they've won all 18 home games in 3 different stadiums. So again, another handicap that he's had to overcome. And he's been sensational. I knew Hansi Flick had called from Bayern Munich and from Germany, but I didn't know his methods up close. But since he's been in Spanish football, he's been absolutely brilliant.
On the flip side,
let's get to that flip side.
You just spoke so glowingly about Hansi Flick and the impact that he's had, and Real Madrid is searching for who their next manager will be. The Jose Mourinho rumors, it just feels like they're getting louder and louder now. Is someone who is very controversial and can rule with an iron fist. Can Mourinho fix all of Real Madrid's problems?
It's going to be fun to watch, and it's going to be drama in La Liga. It's going to be more drama at Real Madrid. They probably don't need more drama. They need a little bit of calmness, and I hope that the players now, bearing in mind they haven't won anything for 2 years, and this is a team that won the Champions League and La Liga in the same season, then signed Kylian Mbappe, and a lot of people thought, me included, with the state of affairs that Barcelona had, that they were going to dominate Spanish football for some while, and it hasn't been the case. So my hope is that the Real Madrid players who have had too much power now will look and think, we don't want another night where we're going to the Camp Nou and Barcelona are winning the league. We want to be involved in the later stages of the Champions League. And they will embrace a new manager, whoever it is. Now, if it's Jose Mourinho, I think it will be. When that was first put out, the interest in Jose Mourinho, I thought, don't be daft, because I remember how it ended at Real Madrid with Jose Mourinho. And it's similar to the situation now at Real Madrid, where the players didn't like him. He fell out with Cristiano Ronaldo. There was major issues. It was time for them both to part ways. To think he's coming back, it's going to be fun to watch, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to work. I mean, you saw Mbappe during the match posting on Instagram stories as Real Madrid is down 2-0, almost trolling or subliminal messages that we see Mbappe often doing. How this team looks without him, as a conversation all week was how well they have performed without Mbappe. And here they sit in the first 20, 25 minutes down 2-0. To me, it just feels like it's going to be a power grab between Mbappe and Mourinho, and somewhere Vinny and Bellingham are going to have to figure out where they fit in all this. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Fede Valverde and Tchouameni as well, where they can fit into it as well. Yeah, I mean, I'm one of the few people that kind of feel a little bit for Kylian Mbappe. I mean, he's got 41 goals in 41 matches. Now,
but they've also only won one of the last 6 games he's played.
And 0 trophies over the last 2 years as PSG's in back-to-back Champions Leagues finals.
All those things go against him. PSG have been better since he left the club. But I think a manager worth his while could make that work. I mean, the top managers, the top clubs in the world would love to have Kylian Mbappe, but they can't afford him. He can't leave Real Madrid. It's going to be impossible for someone to pay him what Real Madrid are paying. So somehow, if it is Jose Mourinho, he's got to find a system of play that accommodates a player that scores a goal every game. So that might be at the expense of other players. But I don't think Kylian Mbappe, it's easy to say that since he's joined the club, they haven't won anything. Since he left PSG, they're winning everything. He's an easy target. But I still think he's an incredible footballer. And he must be sick to the back teeth now of coming up to Real Madrid, PSG winning everything, Barcelona winning everything in Spain. So hopefully, the two minds will meet. He must want team success. I mean, it's all well and good scoring a goal every game.
That's the question. Does Kylian Mbappe really want team success, or does Kylian Mbappe want Mbappe success? That is the biggest question that other top managers have tried to answer as well.
Look, Terry, brilliant stuff from you as always. We always appreciate your time. You were sensational as always.
Could have done another hour.
Oh, easily. No, come in. We'll do another hour at some point.
We got a lot to talk about.
There's a lot to break down this off-season from La Liga. The brilliant Terry Gibson joining us on the S Word. Master, these 2 hours have flown by.
You got caught up in VAR talk. I got caught up in Mbappe talk, and next thing you know, it's time to wrap.
Don't worry. Tottenham Leeds tonight, live on talkSPORT. We will break that down tomorrow. Is the relegation fight going to be over? Are Leeds going to be on the beach? Plus plenty more for us to get into. So make sure to go and subscribe at talkSPORT S Word on YouTube. Follow us on all the social media channels. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the S Word.
From the touchline to the terraces, talkSPORT presents the S Word.